Throughout the course of Kahawa Pride season, many of our players have risen to become main characters in this storyline. Kasim Wingi, the international transfer who shocked the world within minutes of his club debut, Louis Moniki, the star veteran who returned to his home club, Rahimu Salehe, the winger who many are saying could be the next Lamine Yamal, and many others. But one player has flown completely under the radar, Mohammed Nguvu. When we signed Nguvu out of Tanzania at the start of the year, Coach Kim, Otto, and Matthias thought we had landed our future #1 keeper. What followed instead was 5 separate injuries in 6 months and a story of an up-and-coming star keeper that borders on unbelievable. This is how we found him, how we lost him, and where his journey will go from here. You are now watching Road to the Kenyan Premier League. What's up everyone, my name is Hayes Canup, JerseyBird founder and your host of Road to the Kenyan Premier League. Welcome back to another episode and thank you all for tuning in. Today we have a different kind of episode. If you have been following along this season, there is one name on our roster that you guys have barely seen on the pitch. Mohammed Nguvu, our third keeper, the guy we signed from Tanzania who has played in 0 league matches, 0 tournament matches, and only a handful of friendlies earlier in the year. And today you are going to find out his entire story and why this is. Before we get into it, if you haven't already, go check out our club Discord, the Lion's Den. It is a crucial way to support the club. We appreciate everyone's support and I will link it in the description below if you want to go check it out. It is a great community. Now back to the video. Mohammed Nguvu is a goalkeeper from Tanzania. Around the clubhouse, we call him Moody. He grew up in Morogoro, a rural city in central Tanzania. He's actually from the same area as one of our other players that you know, winger Rahimu Salehe. The two of them go way back. Before signing with us, Nguvu played for 3 different clubs in Tanzania's 3rd division, Mondo Coffee Estate, Morogoro Tanzanite, and Moro Kiddis, where he helped the team win promotion to the 2nd division. And then he came to us, all the way down in the 5th division of Kenyan football. To understand how we ended up signing a Tanzanian goalkeeper that we hadn't even seen play, you have to understand where we were coming from at the start of the season. Last season, we lost 3 goalkeepers. 2 had to leave for work, and 1 got transferred to a higher division club. By the end of it, our goalkeeper coach, John Zakayo, ended up becoming a first choice keeper himself. But we went from a team that conceded the fewest goals in the league to one of the teams that conceded the most. So when we came into open trials this season, we knew 2 things. We had to replace Githinji, our star striker from 2024, and we had to find a new goalkeeper.
We lost 2 keepers to work and one keeper was transferred out to a higher division team. We had come from a team that conceded less of the goals in the last 2 seasons to become one of the teams that conceded a lot of goals in 1 season.
But we didn't really find a star keeper at trials. And that is how Miguel Karani, aka Karani Mamba, got promoted from our sub-county team Mapogo to the senior squad. He had potential, but we needed some backups. Karani was young and he needed some experience in the keeper room with him. So right after our friendly match at Dandora, which happened right after our open trials, me and the staff were all standing around talking about this issue, the goalkeeper problem. At the time, Karani was our only real option. Alex Alamira, a close friend of the club, was also there, and he overheard the conversation. Alex said he knew a keeper back in Tanzania, and he said he was legit.
Alex said that he knew a goalkeeper, and he was experienced. That's the first time we heard about Mohammed Nguvu.
And we didn't ask too many questions because Alex Alamira's resume is real. He won back-to-back Kenyan Premier League titles in the Women's League with Vihiga. He's worked in the Tanzania Football Federation. He was the technical director at Fountain Gate Academy in Tanzania, one of the top programs there, for years, and today he runs Madeira Soccer Assassins. But here is the main thing. We trusted Alex because he had just brought in Rahimu Salehe. And as you guys know, Salehe immediately proved himself. Clearly, he was an up-and-coming star, so we knew that anyone that Alex brings in is probably going to be legit. So we signed Nguvu without seeing him at all on Alex's recommendation. We hadn't even talked to him, nothing. Electronic signature, passport scan, and a photo for his playing card. That was it. It was done. And then we waited for 2 entire months. As I mentioned before, Nguvu lived in a remote rural area in Morogoro. He did not have a personal phone. To get any kind of message to him, we had to go through Alex first, who would then talk to someone in Tanzania, who would then travel out to Nguvu's village of Morogoro, find him, and pass him the message. Then it would have to go all the way back through the chain to get the message back to us. So we had signed a keeper who we had never talked to and who was borderline unreachable.
He didn't have a phone back then, so we used to talk to a Lemuera who used to talk to someone else in Tanzania.
During those 2 months, the preseason was already fully underway. We played through the preseason cup, through a bunch of friendlies, all of that early action. Nguvu missed every single bit of it, and the registration deadline was coming up. We had Nguvu signed and we had his player card, but we could not actually use him, so we made another move. We signed John Zakayo as our backup keeper. He was already listed as an assistant coach, but we got his player card too, just in case. By the time Nguvu finally got to Nairobi, Karani and Manyao had already pretty much locked down the goalkeeper rotation. But Coach Kim, of course, was still working Nguvu in training and in some of our friendly matches.
We already have the number 1, number 2, and number 3, and we hadn't seen him well enough to give him a league match. Yeah, so we needed to give him more friendly matches to see him.
But then there was Nguvu's trip back home to Tanzania after Christmas. When Nguvu was coming back into Kenya after the holiday break, the officials at the airport asked him what he was coming into the country for, and he told them that he was a professional football player. That opened him up to a bunch of other scrutiny. They took his passport, and he spent another solid chunk of time unable to get into the country, and we had to navigate the work permit paperwork to get him cleared. And then the injuries started. First, it was a swollen toe, a bacterial infection that took a couple weeks to heal. When he came back, we played a friendly against Kenya Forest. Nguvu started in goal. It was his first match ever for Kahawa Pride, and we won 3-2. Salehe scored, Austin Ochieng got 2 assists, and Nguvu looked the part. That was the only match he has played for us where he came in healthy and walked off the field on his own 2 feet, because after Kenya Forest, the injuries just kept on coming. Sausage fingers, aka when your fingers swell up from saving balls with poor technique or just bad luck or a bad bounce or hard shot in training, then a boil on his elbow, another bacterial infection. We didn't really know the reason, we just attributed it to bad luck because no one else was really suffering from these types of situations. But these small injuries kept piling up. Victor Ashinga, our head of strength and conditioning, has been with Nguvu through every single one of these injuries. We don't have an official team doctor at the club. For serious injuries or infections, we take our players to the hospital, but for everything except that serious stuff, Ashinga is who will take care of it. And then in training, Nguvu took a hard slide on the ground and came up with a waist and thigh injury, painful enough to keep him out for about another week. So that was 4 separate situations, all in the span of just a couple months, none of them super serious on their own, but all of them keeping him off of the pitch. But I want to take you back to a moment somewhere in the middle of all of this. Between one injury and the next, Nguvu had stretches where he was back in training, getting fit, and getting close to being ready again. And during one of the friendlies he was playing in, Otto's phone rang. It was Coach Kim. He told Otto, who was not present at the game, that Nguvu was looking real, that he might be our number 1 keeper.
Moody, as we call him, the first instance, he has a very good physique. At that point, we knew we had our first goalkeeper.
But before Otto could even respond, Kim hung up. Kim called back a minute later. Something had happened on the pitch, and Nguvu had suffered another injury. So during that small moment, that was the closest he had come to becoming our starting keeper, and it lasted about 30 seconds. A few more weeks went by, he healed up, and we scheduled another friendly to give the squad more match time, this time against Lucky Summer FC, a Division 2 side 3 tiers above us. Eliud Wakesa opened the scoring for us in that match, but Lucky Summer were the better team that day, and we went down later in the match. So we made some changes in the second half. Karani came off and Nguvu came on. 14 minutes after he came on, during a corner kick, the ball came into our box, and in the scramble, an opponent stepped on his ankle and broke it. A fractured fibula. At the time, we did not know that diagnosis, so Ashinga and our medical staff began icing it on the sideline. They thought it was just a normal bang-bang play, but the swelling would not go down.
He was stepped on and we thought that it was a normal injury. We tried to ice it, but unfortunately, after trying to play with the swelling part, we noticed that it was not the normal thing that we thought.
And the pain was not easing at all. Eventually, they sent him in for an x-ray, and that x-ray confirmed the fibula break. So he was put in a plaster cast. We lost the match 2-1, and Nguvu's season was essentially over. He spent the next 6 weeks in that plaster cast. He is out of it now. He's back walking, but he has not started running yet, and Ashinga has him doing workouts in the gym 3 times a day, just trying to get his nervous system back up to par, since it's been a while since he was able to use that leg.
We always work with him at least three times a day. He has actually been doing well. We've always been trying just to reassure him that the process shall be successful.
But the toll of all of these injuries is more than just physical. Listen to him from his own words.
Nilikuwa na stress sana. Nilikuwa tu natamani nipone ili niweze kurudi uwanjani. Na licha hivyo yani hata appetite kwenye kula nilikuwa sina. Nakosa usingizi. Nakaa tu kwa unyonge ila tu nikaa najipa hope tapona tu tapona.
He has not played a single match for Kahawa Pride, not a single tournament match, no league match. Every appearance has been in a friendly, and there were only a handful of those appearances. Most people watching this video have never seen Nguvu in goal. Off the field, Nguvu is one of the quietest people at the clubhouse. He keeps to himself, he usually eats alone, and he spends a lot of his time on his phone or with his closest friend, Raheem Musalehe, the other guy that is from where he's from. But on the field, he is the loudest goalkeeper at this club. Louder than Karani, he communicates non-stop, he keeps the back line organized, and he controls the box.
Umeona kama sisi makipa ukiwa uwanjani lazima uongee kushinda mchezaji wowote. Uongee, kipa ndo kiongozi wa timu. Kwa hiyo nitapoongea uwanjani, yani makosa atapungua. Afu hata opponent aweza akanikaribia mimi. Mimi sipendi kufungwa. Ndio maana inabidi mtu uongee ili kuzuia kidogo mashambulizi, na sio mimi tu sipendi kufungwa. Hakuna kipa ambaye anapenda kufungwa. Hivyo, maana jitahidi unaongea sana. Ila nikiwa club house ni kutulia tu, napiga story tu kawaida na wenzangu, ni kutulia tu.
That is the interesting contrast. On the field, he is the leader of the team, but off the field, he's usually just alone trying to relax.
He's sharp, he's a good goalkeeper. Off and on the field is very, very sharp. He's disciplined, and he's someone who we really are working on to have him.
Mohammed Nguvu came halfway across East Africa to play for us. He spent 2 months waiting just to get into the country, and he has to spend the rest of the season trying to get on the pitch in a match that actually counts. But he is not done, and we are not done with him.
Your next season takuwa strong, kuepusha tu injali mbalimbali, na nitakeep clean sheet, nitacommand timu yangu. Tajitahidi tuchukue tu mataji tu mbalimbali na mashindano. Mungu tu atupe uzima.
So that is Mohammed Nguvu's story. It's a crazy one, and it just shows the realities of being a up-and-coming pro footballer and how harsh things can really be. So quick table update, we are now sitting 4th in the league, 25 matches played, 14 wins, 5 draws, 6 losses, a +12 goal differential, and 44 points. We are 12 points back from first place, but we do still carry that 3-point penalty that is under appeal, and we are hoping will be removed. Also, it is important to note that you never know what will happen in Kenyan grassroots football. On paper, only the first place club goes up, but literally just last year, we had a wild scenario where a team dissolved in the 5th tier, the one we're in now, and we were next in line to take it. So that's the entire reason why we are even in this league right now. We actually were not even supposed to be here. We were supposed to be in the 6th division, but Union FC fell through and we took their spot. And an update on Susan and Nettie, who were trapped in Nanyuki due to the Ebola protest. They are back home safe in Nairobi. Our next match is against Kamongo FC this Sunday at 4 p.m. East African time. That is 2 p.m. in London, 9 a.m. in New York. We do plan to live stream it right here on the JerseyBird YouTube channel, so tune in for that as we continue pushing for promotion. As always, you can catch new episodes of Road to the Kenyan Premier League every Wednesday and Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern time. If you like the show, drop a like, drop a sub, comment where in the world you are watching from. Thank you guys for all the support, and I'll see you in the next one.